Welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network, where we review all the shows and films that get released on streaming, and of course at the end of the show let you know what's being released this coming week so you can create your very own watch list. Ready to give his best recommendations along with myself is my co-host, of course, live from Houston, is Senor Jaime, aka Chewy. What it is, what it was, what it shall be.
Happy spring break, maybe.
Okay, fair enough.
Like there's nothing else going on. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah,
What
that's
do you
true.
want
It's
to say?
March. I mean, come on.
Happy pre St. Patty's Day.
Almost, combine ended to NFL fans, whatever. I don't know. Whatever, dude. You gotta start the fantasy football. The prepping begins now. This is how you win titles.
Thank you.
But anyway,
Thank you.
let's get to it. So it was a big week, actually, huge weekend, and not huge week. It's exaggeration, but a big weekend releases. So let's start with the film first because we did get one movie, which I reviewed weeks ago that I had seen in theaters. Of course, that is Luther, the Fallen Sun, a continuation of the course the 5-season series run BBC show, which brought over to Netflix. I think Hulu has the seasons now, short seasons that like 6, 4, 2, 4 episodes around there. It's a
Yeah,
very
very
short,
short.
yeah, very short, easy watch. So yeah, this one continues. I guess it continues with the final season ended off basically for the most part. Still kind
Yeah.
of tying it into things that happened in our first seasons, but it's not one I think you need to know Luther to watch this film. To be honest with you, but I give my thoughts right now. I'll give them again in a second. But Chewy, this is your first time indulging in such films, so what do you think about Idris Elba's new vehicle here?
I liked it. I mean, I consider this, I guess, more of an extended episode than anything else. I mean, it was like 2 hours 10, maybe a little bit less with
About 2 hours,
credits and all that.
sure.
Yeah, but so I consider this, yeah, this like a two episode type of deal, right? But yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Like I said, I was a fan of the show back in the day. I think when we last season dropped, what, like 3, 4 years ago, maybe.
Around there, it's
Yeah,
been a bit.
it's been a while. It's
Yeah,
been a little while. All right, it's been busy with Fast and Furious and some other stuff.
it does a lot of work. Trying to get ready for James
uh,
Bond. Nah, maybe he's good.
yeah, all those commercials and whatnot. Yeah, so it's all good. But nah, man, I was enjoying it. It's a good story. I mean, if you're a fan of the show, this is just more of that, right? Andy Serkis is the villain, which I hadn't seen the preview, so I had no idea. So that was
Ah,
a little
okay.
surprising. And so he looked a little skinny, dude. He's gonna bulk up a little bit, dude. He's got to go back to Marvel and bulk up.
It's hard, man. You get that old, man. Go to the gym. That's nah,
Yeah, I know, dude. I
yeah.
know. Told
Infinity
out to Hugh
Circus.
Jackman, dude. But it was good stuff, man. It was good. It was entertaining.
Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I gave it a good review when I saw it. So again, a good continuation of the show, right? It felt like a long episode, well done episode.
Yeah,
I like Andy Serkis. He's chewing up scenery. Well done. It's not gonna blow you away. But if this would have been, a 6 season of 2 episodes, because we've seen them do 2 episode seasons before, right? This could
yes.
have been a season 6 2 episodes. It would have been cool, right?
Mhm.
I probably thought even been better elongated to a 4-part series, right? They could have done even a lot more because there's an interesting cat and mouse game between him and Circus and all that. They could extend
Yeah,
it out if they wanted to. But it's a good solid. If you're a fan of the show, there's no reason not to watch it, to be honest with you. And again, if you like this kind of police procedural detective show, there's a dark tone and all that, which works for it. I knew someone there who hadn't even seen. They just showed up because they didn't know what it was. Never really seen the show. They actually enjoyed it and they weren't lost at all, right? Because it does a good job of kind of picking off and you understand what's happening. You have to see the shows at all to understand the film. So well done. Yeah, definitely recommend on my part. Next one, documentaries. Let's finish off the one documentary that got released this week was on Netflix. That's usually good signs because I like when Netflix does documentaries. They do them well and good subject matter. This one is MH370, the plane that disappeared. Of course, it happened back in 2014. Plane flew out of Malaysia, and about an hour or so later, it just vanished. And no trace, various clues, potentially theories of what may have happened. No one knows anything, which is unusual, right? They may have found some I guess wreckage somewhere off Indonesia or something, more or less. But again, at the end of the day, no one really knows what happened, what going on, all these theories. It was a hijacking, or did he just go down, or it was a pilot that did like a suicide thing. Who knows, right? At the end of the day, a lot of investigations in there, and so this just kind of chronicles that. Cool story. I guess I knew of it, I didn't know all the details, and for me, it was well done. Again, it's fascinating. The theories got brought up. Some sound legit, some sound like movies. I guess one guy who investigated came out with this whole like Russian thing, and they went into
Well,
like
I mean, to be fair, he was just throwing out,
he was he
potential theories.
yeah.
There was no, basis, proof, but based on the evidence or lack thereof, really,
Mhm.
because it was just kind of like fill in the blank with what could have happened, right? And so he threw out an idea, and based on the little information they had, was plausible. Was it likely? Not
No,
very
not
likely,
really. But it was
but there was nothing else. I mean, it was that. Then it was either that or believe that okay, the pilot was just suicidal and decided to go on a trip around the world, you know, out of nowhere, out of literally the blue,
sure.
uh, or 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 that's it. That was there was nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, well, it got shot down. I don't know. Well, I mean, anything could have happened. No one knows anything. So I liked it. I enjoyed this one. It was cool. It's three episodes, about an hour a piece, so not too long.
Mhm.
Chewy, what do you think?
No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was very interesting. The thing I don't like with some of these documentaries is it just doesn't give me. I mean, obviously, unfortunately, you don't get payoff's not the right word, but there is no resolution. Right? It's one thing where they're
Mhm.
going to do where you learn something new and you find out what happened and you learn something. Here it's just basically it's still a mystery, right?
Mhm.
Because even the final report said there was no conclusive evidence of what happened to this plane. Well, la di da, thanks for nothing,
Yeah, it's more about the just the process and understanding what
Yeah,
transpired essentially,
yeah.
right?
At the end of the day, yeah.
Exactly, because I mean, yeah, no one knows, but again, the theories are there, and you form your own opinion based on what they tell you in the investigations that were done by certain
Mhm.
journalists and what have you.
Now,
You know.
now, the one thing that kind of annoyed me with one of the theories, well, it wasn't even proposed as a theory because they have three main theories, right? The
Mhm.
suicide theory, the Russian hijack theory, and then maybe the last one was that someone blew it up theory,
Mhm.
right? Russians blew it up. Someone blew it up,
Yeah, or
whatever.
accidentally or
Uh,
on purpose, whatever. I
yeah,
don't know. Who knows?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but there was a one lady who I guess they brought it up to people to just look at photos, satellite data, and found records or what looked to be records, but they didn't really dig into why no one looked into it, or maybe they didn't, and it wasn't part of this documentary. But they made it look like she had found something. They interviewed her, right? She was trying to get out the noise that she found something, but like no one listened, or
Hmm.
what happened? Why did no one even bother looking?
Right.
That's the one news piece. It's like, okay, then why you bring that up?
That's fair.
Right? At
That's
the end of the
fair.
day,
Yeah,
why, if it
I'll
wasn't
give you
part of
that.
any of the three theories,
Yeah.
what was the purpose of
No,
bringing her in and talking to her?
I'll give you that. That's actually a good point. But for the most part, it was well done. Like if you never heard
Yes.
this one, it's interesting to see what happened because again, and
Hmm.
this is not always 2014, so it's like 19
Yeah.
years ago when all this occurred. The
Yeah.
investigation lasted for years, right? I think, or a couple of
Yeah,
years or
because
whatever.
they
Yeah,
kept searching, and
right.
they found, yeah. And I don't think it was conclusive. The pieces they found were part of that plane or
Right. It was
not.
presumed it was, when it
Yeah.
wasn't. Depends who you ask and what story they want
Hmm.
to spin to it. So, yeah, I'd say it was a good watch. I enjoyed it. And again, Netflix is consistent with these documentaries for the most part. The
Hmm.
next one here, let's start with the shows. First one that got released is HBO. Monday release, one episode, of course, and that is Perry Mason season two. This one, I was not a big fan of the first season. I thought it was okay. It wasn't a bait and switch. I'm not gonna go say that, but when you think Payne Mason, for those old enough to remember that, right? And I wasn't, but we heard the show and all that. And there was some syndication. We were younger. It's basically a courtroom drama, essentially what it is, right? And the first season
Hmm.
was anything but that, right? It was Payne Mason. It was like a prequel to
No,
where Payne Mason
the first one
becomes
was
an attorney.
yes, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
prequel to how he became a lawyer,
Right,
essentially.
exactly. This season starts off, and now we get more of what I kind of wanted to see in the first season, right? He's handling cases now. He's in a small case, I think. Not criminal, but I felt what they were doing. A civil case.
Civil
There we go. Yeah.
cases
So he's doing more of that, but obviously,
with Rudy.
Rudy. That's right. Rudy Samwise, Sam Gamwise,
Right.
whatever his name is. Lord of the Rings. He's in there. That was pretty funny. Kind of a dick in the show.
Goonies. He's a Goonie,
But
baby.
Rudy, Rudy. But yeah, the mystery's building. Obviously, it's probably gonna turn to something. Well, the previous
Well,
show is it's gonna be a criminal
it
case. He's gonna be
ends.
taken
It
on, but
ends. Yeah, the
yeah,
case ends at the end of season one with what the case is going to be, the big case,
right, of
right?
course.
And so we have a murder, and so but the first episode is complete all set up as far as okay, this is the case that's going forward. It's gonna, I guess, assume because why bother? Maybe
No, of course, right, yeah, yeah.
So, but let's see how it develops. There's only one episode, so let's just wait and see.
Right, it's hard to get a gauge, but I liked where they're going with the show now as opposed to the first season. So let's see if it continues momentum. I forgot the main guy, the main actor's name. He does a lot of stuff. But...
He was in the Russians FX show
Oh,
for number
The
one.
Americans, the
The
Americans.
Americans,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. The Russians.
But there were Russians in America.
He was a
sorry.
damn commie. Let's just be clear. But, he's a lot of things. He's good. It's a good show. I like the first episode. I enjoyed it. It's hard to gauge one episode. We talk about it all the time. It's not enough, right? We want to get 2 or 3, but that's when HBO usually does that for the most part. It is what it is. But if you're a fan of the first season, you probably will enjoy that one, no doubt. Next one up is on Hulu, the 4-part miniseries, so to speak, and that's History of the World Part 2. The sequel to Mel Brooks is, of course, first History of the World Part 1. This was 2 episodes from Monday to Thursday, about 30 minutes a pop. This is quote unquote comedy, and I'll use that term very loosely. Obviously doing these skits based off historical events, would be in this case focusing on the Civil War and Jesus, for example, and the whole the apostles and etc. Things like that, and different kinds of variety of comic attempts, whether it be like a sitcom type of show or more like a Saturday Night Live kind of thing, or like that one, a Curb Your Enthusiasm,
or like a Jackass thing.
Yeah, that's right, the Jackass thing, exactly.
Actually, it was Curb Your Judaism.
Curb Your Judaism, to be clear, which I thought was actually kind of funny, but
we agreed that was the funniest thing. This whole 8 episodes was that not even a segment, just that.
Yeah, just a little thing, because this one, and there's so much comedic talent here. It's ridiculous, right?
Dude.
He got so many people, known comedians. A lot of names escape me. Yeah, Wanda Sykes, of course.
Well, Wanda Sykes is the one that sticks out, but it's filled with guys you've seen across a variety of TV and movies.
Oh yeah, they're all over the place, and even some big names pop up here and there.
Seth Rogen is in there a little bit.
Seth Rogen, yeah, that's right. We have oh my god, I think that guy from Seinfeld came up in an episode. George Costanza.
That's right. He
I don't know why I can't think of his name right now, but irrelevant. But either way, so various skits, and the stories gets told throughout this. He shows like 5 minutes of one, 5 minutes of another, and mixes them up, and et cetera, et cetera. I love me some Mel Brooks. I really do.
Well, let me ask you this: was this how the first movie was? Because I've seen bits and pieces of Part 1, but I don't remember if this is how it was in that movie.
No, Part 1, it was he went through. He picked different periods in history, but finished the whole story, right? And then he went to the next one.
Okay.
Then he went to the next one. Okay, so he had Roman times, and then he went, to obviously the Last Supper, which is hilarious.
Inquisition.
Then he did Spanish Inquisition. Just great work, and when you watch it, still holds up. But this was a disaster. This was utter. This was not funny. Some moments here and there, a few moments. The Kama Sutra was kind of funny with Kulama and Johnny.
He was in the
That was a short little skit.
That was funny.
That was funny. Moments like that, some of the Jesus stuff was funny at times.
We needed more of that, but this was just a complete clusterfuck, dude. Yeah, dude. I mean,
it was terrible.
Too many cooks, no recipe, dude.
No ingredients. I don't know what it was just. It just was not fun. Like I said, and it's dopey and silly, but that's where it's supposed to be. But what I always say, right? It doesn't matter, right? If it's funny, that's all that matters. Right? When it comes to a comedy, you're laughing. Who gives a shit? I just wasn't laughing, and it's got decent reviews. I don't understand for the life of me how. I really don't, because it's not funny at all. Jokes last way too long. Just there's no cleverness behind. He tries to be clever and incorporate some modern things, like with TikTok and whatever and Instagram. But it just doesn't work. It's
just a weird juxtaposition of trying to tell a funny history story but mixing it with modern technology. Yeah. Even the bits with Johnny Knoxville, right, where he's Rasputin and they have a little song and dance number, but then after that it becomes Jackass Rasputin, right? What they call it. Jack Sputin, whatever they call it. It's just not funny,
it's
man.
It's a good idea.
I
like the idea, but that I was not laughing. Even as it's hard to say I'm disappointed, because I wasn't expecting a lot. The trailers weren't funny, except for a couple of scenes here and there, maybe. But it was even worse than I thought it was going to be. That's not good. Big time disappointment. I mean, I'll give him a pass because he's like 90. He's literally 90 something years old. So whatever, it is what it is, and I'll give him credit for trying, but. It's just a shame, because I love the first film. I love Mel Brooks. So that's just stay away from this. It's not funny. You're wasting your time if you're watching this. Trust me. This next one, let you take the lead on this, because I don't have MGM Plus, but that's A Spy Amongst Friends. Showing MGM. I
You
think.
know,
Oh,
we made a mistake. That actually starts today. I thought it came out last week,
oh,
and it's actually. I'm not sure if all episodes drop today. I have to go look after this.
okay.
For it's only six
Oh, I
episodes,
just
so
see it. I just
it
see it.
had
Oh yeah,
Guy Pearce and Damian Lewis of
yeah.
Band of Brothers fame and Billions and
Okay.
some other shows.
Well,
But
okay. Well, let's
this
just
is a
talk about it
period.
next week then. We'll
Yeah,
bring it
this is
next week.
a period spy drama thriller. So,
Okay.
but it started today. So my bad.
I didn't notice when the post I up does say 312. I just wasn't seeing that. So
Yeah.
sorry, folks. So history of the world does to you. Just fucks with your mind. We'll circle back on that one next week. Peacock, not Peacock. I'm sorry, Paramount Plus. School Spirits, the next one talking about. They're releasing 3 episodes. Is they're gonna do drama, but it's starring what's her name? Oh man, I forgot her name. She's in
But she's Cobra Kai, dude. That's it.
she's in
I know
Cobra
her from Cobra
Kai,
Kai.
whatever. I can't figure her name. Paris something or something. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Either way, she is you got I guess was recently murdered. You know, the show starts off. She's a ghost apparently, and is stuck in high school. And there's other ghosts of kids who I guess died in high school as well, and have a support group and all that. Try to bring each other up and deal with the fact that they're dead. But she's hell bent on figuring out who killed her. Essentially, right? She's going through the mystery, and
Well,
she has
let's make it. All these ghosts died in this
in the school,
school, in
right?
the history of this school,
Right in
and
the
then
school.
not somewhere else in this. No, they're stuck through school because something like the football player died on the field,
Mm-hmm.
cardiac arrest. The other one of the girls was killed by her counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, everyone, you start finding out how they died, but they won't happen within the boundary of the school.
Right, and then she is actually able to talk to one of her friends, who's able to
Hmm.
see her, and the mystery begins to unfold and all that. So I'll let you take the lead first. Peyton List is her name. God, I can't remember. I didn't
Oh,
remember.
thank you. Yes.
What do you think about this one?
Um, I liked it. It wasn't bad. This was after watching Wolfpack, Teen Wolf, whatever, and
Oh,
that
Wolfpack,
disaster.
awful show,
Yeah,
Paramount Plus. Yeah,
that disaster of a show,
yeah.
and I wasn't sure what to expect. Right, I knew this was not going to be Tulsa King, not going to be Mayor Kingstown, but I went with an open mind and said, okay, let's see. An interesting premise. Let's see if this takes a wire approach or if this takes a serious adult approach. I think they took a serious adult approach in a high school setting because it's dealing with
Mm.
supernatural, with spirits and ghosts, but a serious case of a murder mystery, right? How did I die? And that is what she's trying to investigate. So I enjoyed it. I watched her watching. I think she got hooked into it as well. She started watching with me. It was funny. In one of the episodes, she's wearing a shirt, and you can almost think it's a Easter egg of Cobra Kai that looks like a
Oh,
snake on her purple shirt. Like, and she's like, I said, it's like, hey, is that Cobra Kai t-shirt? So
that's
a
pretty
little
funny.
meta. I think it was on purpose. Nothing's done by accident as far as the dress, what they wear and stuff. But kind of funny and stuff. So they kind of threw that in there. But yeah, I liked it overall so far. 3 episodes in. So I'll keep watching to the end and see what happens.
I mean, better than Wolfpack. Again, the bar is as low as
Better
possible
than
with
Wolfpack
that.
and better than Blue Bitch. So we're okay. We're
Again,
positive.
when you put the bar that low, it's easy to limbo in the bar. You can just walk over the bar. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's not a terrible show. It's fairly interesting. I wish they do more of the whole death thing. Again, I think it's a little too serious for its own good. Some fun would be nice, and the premise of them being ghosts and taking advantage of that could be more interesting. We're still trying to, toe that line
They sprinkle that in here, and I mean
very lightly, but
it's trying to be a serious because it's a
right,
murder
of
mystery, so
course,
it's not
but
like,
you can
oh,
still do.
it's
But I
funny,
mean,
I'm dead, haha,
no, but
right?
only immersed in the
But
building really knows how to balance the
well,
seriousness
but
and
but
right.
but the premise of that's a comedy,
Well,
okay?
I know.
With the
I'm not saying
murder thrown
no. You
in,
have to make this a comedy. Just make it a little bit light.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because you can have fun with the
Okay.
premise of these ghosts, right? Who can see things and move things that when they move them, no one notices it but them. But you can really have fun with that, or possessions, things like that. You could have tossed in there so often. But that being said, the mystery is fine. It's okay. Ultimately, it's fine. It's just a burgers and fries kind of show. It's like okay, it's a meal. You're gonna get full, but whatever.
You go to McDonald's, you
Um,
know what you're gonna get, dude.
Exactly, it is what it is. Again, this is one like I would just slightly recommend this one. I'm not gonna tell you not to stay away from it because it's fine. I actually haven't started watching this one, the part two, because I'm waiting for my wife to watch it. And, this weekend was a little bit turbulent, so it is what it is. But Chewy, I know you like the show more than I do, essentially.
Probably. Yeah.
They just start,
Dexter Light.
yeah, Dexter Light.
Yes.
They're very light.
Yes,
They
I
just
did.
okay.
I did start season two. Um, And so
Part
I don't
two.
want to spoil it. Yeah, I'm sorry, part two,
Mm-hmm.
season five. I don't want to spoil it because I have three in, but the twist was there was a nice twist that I didn't see coming,
Okay.
and so that kind of changed my perspective on what was going on, right? But I hear some grumblings about the finale, so I need to see the end before I can assess
No,
the
exactly.
season as a
This is,
whole.
yeah, this is a show. If you've been watching it, you're probably watching the show, right? You
Yes,
know,
you're a fan. Yeah,
yeah,
you're a fan. I
exactly.
just
So,
started
but
this.
I
Yeah.
guess I just didn't get a chance to see it. So maybe we'll circle
Mhm.
back. Let's see. Maybe when it ends, since I believe is the last season, we can talk how this did end conclude anyway. Gotta stick
Mhm.
the landing. It's not the hardest thing to do in TV. Sticking that landing. It's not easy. It's easier said than done. This next one here is the part two of The Glory. They released
Yeah.
8 episodes late last year. Now we got the second batch of 8. This one here focusing as a Korean show, Korean drama, about a woman who, as a kid in high school, was bullied, tortured, you name it, to the core. It was really bad, and she's grown up now, and she's done a lot of work in to put herself in position to exact revenge on those who wronged her, those who are gonna get the comeuppance, which I always enjoy. There's also another girl who died by the same people who she's trying to work into the revenge factor. I know that when I saw it, I really liked the show. No, yeah, I don't think at the time you hadn't started watching. I know you did end up watching the show.
Mhm.
So season 2 comes out, and after a slow first episode, the second and third, I saw 3 thus far. Really good. Picking up, now you see the plan really come into fruition, and the balancing act, and the main villain, I guess, protagonist, antagonist, her trying to counteract what's going on because she's aware of what's
Mhm.
going on at this point. Very well done, very well executed. Some good acting here. I like this story. And it doesn't rush through it. It's easy, and again, it's not revenge. She's not seeking out trying to kill people. That's an easy way to get revenge, right? This isn't John Wick, right? No one's dog get killed, which I get. But this is more of a methodically planned execution, going through the motions and making sure all the pieces, and it's associated with this game called Go. It's a popular game overseas. It's almost like chess, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. But there's a lot of strategic involved. So, nonetheless,
Oh, I think we call it Othello here.
is it Othello? Is that
It's
what it
like
is? Okay, I
yeah,
know it
here
looked
it's
like it. I
Othello.
wasn't
It's
sure if
called
it was.
Othello.
Okay, so I wasn't
Well,
sure
I
if that
think
was
it is. I think it is. Yeah, where you're trying to conquer the board and collect all the pieces
right. I
and
guess. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's Othello. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I guess I'm not 100% sure, but that being said, yeah. So it's really well done. I'm enjoying the show. I like this a lot. It's a good recommend for me. It's one of the better Korean dramas. It was Korean dramas can be a little over dramatized at times. This one restrains itself, and it's not. So I'm enjoying it. This is a very high recommend for me. Chewy.
Yeah, I saw part one, started part two or season two, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it. Nice surprise because I'd seen some other Korean shows that just kind of turned me off.
Sure.
You know,
No, I
they shall remain nameless because they were just terrible.
I get it.
Some very good,
Yeah.
right? But this is definitely in the upper echelon of good K dramas, I guess is what it's
Yeah.
called.
Well, that's the correct term.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely one of the better ones because they do a lot better with more supernatural stuff and monsters, horror. They're great at that, right? Because this touch of imagery that they always have. The
Hmm.
dramas can go one way or another, and I guess a lot of them are overacted and kind of ridiculous. This one, it seems like it was, you know, restraint and good acting, which we don't always get out of K dramas. Let's be honest. Love me some K dramas, but I gotta be honest. But this is actually a very cool show. It's a good revenge story. So then they've done really well in the past with revenge stories and all that, a la Old Boy, for example. So that's it for this week. So there's some good stuff in there. But next week is another pack week. We mentioned Spy Amongst Friends. If you have MGM, if you do have MGM,
Sorry, today.
Godfather of Harlem.
Godfather of
Must
Harlem.
watch
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker. So you check those out. But this week is a good week because it's always a good week when Mr. Lasso is back in town.
Head back,
Come
believe,
on, man. He comes back
believe,
season
dude.
3, potential the finale last season. That it was said it was, but who knows at this point.
Yeah.
So it drops Apple Plus, of course. It's on Wednesday the 15th. Probably 1-2 episodes, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there'll be weekly
This
drops.
is
Yeah.
one. Give me 2. I don't want too many, but I want this to be stretched out as far as possible. Particularly if it is indeed the last season. So I can't wait for this. On the 16th, Thursday, it's Shadow and Bone season 2,
I did.
which is it's been like 8 years since we got the first season. I think it was 2019 or 18, I forget, but COVID, so I get it. But that's finally coming out. It's a kind of fantasy-esque show and all that. I actually
With
enjoyed the first season.
with Ben Barnes, not Josh Duhamel or
That's right.
Timothy
It's
Oliphant.
Ben Barnes.
So
That's right. He
just so we know, just so
you
we're
can tell he
clear.
was desperate for work because I see him on Hulu commercials all the time now.
I know.
So man's got to eat. On Apple Plus, the 17th Friday is Extrapolations. It's a futuristic anthology series, has a big cast. This obviously deals with
Huge
environmental issues in the future or
climate change.
futuristic.
Yeah, yeah.
So curious to see how many episodes they drop and if it's good or not. A lot of times these tend to be a letdown because the anthology series is tough. I always say, right, you're gonna get a big couple of hits and a few misses. That's just how it works. After that, we got Sky High on Netflix. Don't forget on Fridays. This is a Spanish show, I think.
It's a Spanish show. I guess there was a movie. I'm not sure, but the same name that came out a couple years ago. It was very good. I never saw it, but this is like the prequel series now
Okay.
for that. So I don't
Seems
know
like
what to expect.
it
Yeah.
seems like it's a heist kind of a show.
Well, I
To
think
some
the
degree.
movie was so. Actually, I never saw the movie. I don't remember the movie. Actually, I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah,
Sky High or
I
not.
think it's some kind of it's a high show. I think one of the son who's the family. It's like a family and part of this gang or whatever you want to call them. Gang might be
Hmm.
the right word, but criminals. How's that? And yeah, I think there's some heist involved. There's some to that effect. So what? It's a heist.
Hey, we love a good heist, dude.
Exactly. So we'll check that one out. Same day, Monster Factory on Apple Plus. It's a docu series. Correct me if
Yes,
I'm wrong.
for the
Okay.
wrestling fans out there.
Yeah, if you're into wrestling, I guess it's like I guess upcoming with those who aspire to be wrestlers and their training and all that stuff. Is that am I saying
Yeah,
that? Is
so
that right?
I think this is like the one of the feeder
Okay.
training programs
Okay.
for the very. I mean, there's not that many wrestling factions, right? I mean, there's
No.
WWE, right? And what's the other one that's on? I can't remember what the other one
TNA, I
is.
think I forget what it is, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, TNT, whatever. But
whatever it is.
I think this is. I'm not sure if this is a feeder for WWE or aspiring guys trying to make it big. So it's kind of yeah, docu series and focus
Yeah,
on
I guess a
some
reality show would
individuals.
be the best. Reality show is what.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's probably what makes more sense and all that. And
Hmm.
so whatever, we'll check that out. Although this is technically not next week, we'll mention it. We'll probably mention it again the week after because it's actually the 19th of Sunday, and that's Lucky Hank on AMC, AMC Plus. Bob
Bob
Odenkirk,
Odenkirk.
him
Yeah.
and AMC, work beautiful
Of
together.
Seinfeld fame. No, I'm just kidding.
And Seinfeld. Of course, Breaking Bad is phenomenal. Cause Saul Goodman, Better Call Saul, I love that show. So
Sound good, man.
this one here is like a teacher, a professor, some
College
higher
professor.
institution.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm not
Well,
sure this.
university professor, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, a high secondary institution. I don't know what the show's about to be honest with you. I'll probably look into it more next week.
I
Um,
haven't seen the trailer because I mean I didn't care. I know it has Bob Odenkirk, which we're who we're big fans of.
yep.
Met him once at Comic Con many years ago,
Oh,
so that
that's
was
right.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just by sheer luck. But obviously, I think the showrunners or producers of Breaking Bad America. So does it have the main guys, or I'm not sure if they're writing. They're involved some way somehow into this
Okay.
show. So that's all I needed to hear.
No, the
So I was like,
Bob
okay,
Odenkirk is great,
yeah,
and it was the movie recently. Nobody. Great little film.
great movie.
Very
Yeah.
John Wick
Hmm.
esque kind of show. Very cool. If you haven't seen that.
John Wick for the common man.
Yeah, John Wick Light. How about that? There you go. There you go. But in a good way. It's not into it because nobody's actually a pretty cool film. So yeah, so there we go. So again, a lot of stuff in here again, and so looking forward to some of the stuff coming out. The Monster Factory looks kind of cool. I am kind of interested in that.
And it's Apple
And
Plus, right?
yeah,
They
and
hit
extra
more than they miss.
right, and extra. This is an Apple Plus week with extrapolations. Am I saying that right? Uh,
Extrapolations, yes.
that and then Apple and then of course Ted Lasso, which is going to be the main course is coming here. That's the first thing that comes out. So we have appetizers after the fact. That being said, so a lot of stuff. We'll be back here next week to talk about those shows and let you know, of course, what's coming out after that. Appreciate it. Subscribe. We appreciate that. Like, share, etc. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.